In this lesson, we'll learn how we can customize our logs in Python. We will be using the login module still, and we have already defined a couple of parameters for the basic config function. This time, we're going to be outputting the logs to the output.log file. So here it is. Of course, here we have pretty dull standard message, but we can change that, of course. Enter the format string. So format string consists of a sequence of some tokens that represent the data. And later we can use this format string to define how our log message should look like. There are loads and loads of these tokens of any purpose, but we of course will be using just some of them. The full list can be found in the official documentation. The first token is ASC time, so the time when the log was generated. The level name, this is basically the level of the event that causes this log to be recorded. So we've seen this info warning, so on and so forth. Func name is the name of the function that produced this event that caused the log to be recorded. Then the exact number of the line in the code that caused this event, and then the message itself. So these placeholders will be filled with values once we'll start using that format string. And also these characters following the placeholder display the type of the value expected. Once again, we're going to specify the file mode as W, write, meaning that each time this code will run, we'll overwrite our log file, and then this new parameter format will get this formatted string as its value. Let's run this code and check the log file. And now you can see it is much more informative. So apart from the time when the log was generated, you can see the name of the function that caused this log to happen, and then the line. But let's try a scenario when we have another function that can cause this log to be recorded. In essence, this simulates a real life scenario where we have different parts of the program that are capable to access the log. Here we define the additional function called debug log, and once it is called, it will generate a log of debug level with some message. And before we'll run this code again, let us define another thing. So back in the main function, I want to redefine the representation of the date and time of our log. I'll call it date str, and here we're going to utilize the same logic as with format string. This time I'll use special tokens to represent the date and time. So the format will be month, days, and years, followed by hours, minutes, and seconds, and finally we'll specify whether it's AM or PM. And then we'll need to add this date str as a value for another parameter in basic config function called date fmt. And I will also, after this, I'll add the call to the debug log function down below, and then I'll run the code again. Let's check the output log now. And there you'll see the date and time format is represented as we've specified. And the third line also tells us that this log message was caused by the debug log function. But also sometimes we want to accommodate some extra information inside of our log message, such as, for example, the username or the IP address of that user. So for this purposes, let's define a dictionary. We'll call it extra data. That'll contain some information about a user, for example, their email address. So for this toy example, the key will be just a user, and the value is going to be an email. And after we've done that, we'll need to add a placeholder to this fmt str. So basically, where this extra data will be displayed. So right at the beginning of this FMT STR, we'll type the label user together with the placeholder user. Additionally, we'll need to add this extra data as the value to the parameter extra in logging debug, logging info, and logging warning functions. So after the comma, we just add extra equals extra data, and I'll copy and paste it to login.info and login.warning. And now if we'll run the code, we'll see this extra information displayed together with the log message.